Well, it's also a great privilege for me to be here and to welcome all of you who are joining together at this third annual meeting of the African Consortium for Law and Religion Studies. I believe that we are seeing the crystallization of a very effective organization that will have great long-term significance for Africa and for the world more generally. As I look out, I see many friends. I see senior statesmen like Johann van der Vever. I see Jeremy Gunn, who I first met flying on an airplane to the Vienna World Conference on Human Rights. And we had an enjoyable discussion when we discovered we were accidentally going to the same place. I see people from other parts of the world, such as Mark Hill from the UK. I see many friends from this area. I have to say I also am glad to see Kofi Kwashiga. I remember meeting him, can't remember how many years ago, but he came to a conference at our center and he's still a young scholar, but he was even younger then and made very significant contributions. And it was a great delight 2 or 3 years ago to discover he had become the dean of the law school, and that actually made possible the first conference that we had 3 years ago. Well, I guess it's 2 years ago. This is the third conference. But there are just so many people. There are old friends, there are new friends, such as Dean Akinola Ibidapo Obe. I'd like to say Dean Obe, it's much easier, but who was welcomed me to and helped to introduce me to Nigeria earlier this year, and I think he's going to bring great strength to our organization. But I can't pick out everyone, but it's so wonderful to see so many of you and to be at this event. You know, on the one hand, we live in a shrinking world in which front page news reports everywhere highlight various travails coming out of Africa, Boko Haram's depredations, worries about pressures from extreme Islamic groups in various parts of Africa, interactions of various types of Christianophobia, Islamophobia, all kinds of phobias, and so forth. On the one hand, there are these kinds of tensions that we're very aware of. On the other hand, there is much going on that is very positive and is really vital for the future. There's better empirical evidence now than ever before about the ways that religious freedom can contribute to greater religious vitality, to greater social capital, to enriching society in both material and spiritual ways. So we see this kind of thing as well. And I think one of the things, as I participate in events like this in various parts of the world, I remember I had an experience last fall when I was able to attend a meeting of the Latin American Consortium of Law and for Religious Freedom. I was struck by the fact that the number of Latin American countries that really have very strong records on freedom of religion or belief. And I was struck thinking about that. You have countries, many like Brazil, has gone over the past 10 or 20 or 30 years from the position of having been 95% Catholic to 65% Catholic, with significant changes in the overall demography of the country. And that's happened with relatively little social disruption, violence, and so forth. What makes it possible to have significant change of that kind and to manage that in peaceful ways? What do we need to know more where we're seeing violence and other kinds of problems? So I think we need, those of us here particularly, recognize the importance of these issues and ways that we can contribute in various ways. With that in mind, I'm particularly happy to welcome people here, both on behalf of my own university and the International Center for Law and Religion Studies that I head, and also on behalf of the International Consortium for Law and Religion Studies, which is based in Milan, Italy, which is a kind of umbrella organization for groups like this around the world. It's extremely important to have people of your stature, your expertise, people who are really willing to plumb the depths of the kinds of issues and that can get us beyond the kinds of things we see in sound bites, in news, or things happening in normal politics. Things we need a deeper grasp of the issues, and on many fronts, in constitutional law and human rights, in theology, in development. We've seen a number of new kinds of issues emerging, increased importance to the role of religion in development. We've been involved over the past year in a new initiative in connection with G20 summit. So there was a G20 Interfaith Summit held last November in Brisbane, Australia. Some from this part of the world attended. The next one will be in Turkey, and we're at work on that. And again, there's a great need for looking in new ways at the ways that religious life interfaces with other aspects of life. So all of these things help highlight, I think, the importance of our work. We have greater technological capacity than ever before to network together and to share in each other's work. I've always found, though, that the internet works better if you know the people at the other end. And I think this kind of session builds the starting points for networks that can have more interactivity, more influence, more understanding than ever before. So I wish us every success not only in our own conference, but as we spend time together here in building networks of understanding that can go forward in the years to come. Thank you very much.